And location can restrict you. You may think you're not good enough, or you're not working hard enough, or you can never make it to a particular place. But it could be that location that you're at. Some people are so stuck in one place. I grew up there, I went to school there, my family is here, my friends are here, so they don't want to ever move away. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tega. Thank you so much for joining me on this channel. I'm going to share with you today the things that I had to do to change my life. I had to take a couple of steps to make my life go in this direction that it's going, and I can confidently say now that I'm on the right track to getting where I want to go. I know that sometimes it feels like you're stuck, or like, you know, there are no other options, there's nothing else that you can do. But sometimes if you sit down and assess your life, you will see that there's some conscious efforts, there's some steps that you can take to at least start to move things a bit for you. So the first thing that I did was I decided what I wanted. I sat down one day and I'm like, what do I want? What do I want out of life? Who do I want to be? Where do I want to go? How do I want to live my life? You know, if you're dissatisfied for any reason, then you know that there's room for change. I don't think anyone would want to change anything that's already going well. So before you sit down and start thinking you want to change your life, there must be things that you don't like. So I sat down and I thought, what do I want out of life? Where do I want to go? And I figured that out, and I told myself, okay, this is what I want. This is a fair enough or clear enough picture of what I want my life to be like. After doing that, I had to ask myself, if I continue living my life and going in this direction, will I get where I want to go? Will I get the life that I want? So because my main focus was on my career, I realized that that was the part of my life that I was dissatisfied with. As far as I am concerned, I wasn't making enough money. I wasn't even putting in as much work as I could put in. I wasn't giving as much of myself. I know that I am really good at this thing. I'm good at my job. But the role that I was in didn't give me enough, I don't know, opportunity to explore what I'm capable of. And I felt like if I can't advance or develop somewhere, then there really is no room for growth, you know? And then I looked at the company I was working. I just felt like if I stayed there 5 years or 10 years, is there anything that's going to change much? Will I grow? Will there be advancement? It didn't look to me like I was in the kind of place where I needed to advance, right? So I came to the conclusion that the direction I'm going with, the way I'm going, I will not get what I want. I had to decide, do I want to add to my career? Do I want to add something to what I'm already doing? Or do I want to change this thing altogether? So for me, I decided to start a business. I started my event planning business at first. And then after some time, I had like 2 or 3 other businesses that I added to that. Next thing I decided to do was think about my location. At this time, I had made progress in the business area. My business was running as smoothly as a small business can run in Nigeria at the time. So I was stable. After I had been stable for some time, I quit my job and I focused on my business. But then I started to think again that, you know what I feel? I feel like at every point in your life, there's room for growth. You can always evolve. Changing doesn't mean that you've become a hypocrite or you have to pretend to be someone you are not. I'm the kind of person who feels like if you want to speak like an American, you have the freedom to do that. If you want to practice how to have an American accent because you feel like that's what you want and that will open some doors for you, it's like, go ahead and do that. I just feel like anything that anyone wants to do that they feel it will elevate their lives, that's fine for them. If you want to start dressing some sort of way and you feel like that's what you need to change about yourself to be happy, I feel like that's fine. But for me, it was mostly my career and my financial growth. That's what I was mostly concerned about because I'm very particular about money. I like to make money, right? So I was thinking, if I stay in this place, am I going to make as much money as I want to make? Granted, I was doing better than I did in my job. So I had my job, I was earning a salary, and then I started making more money from my businesses than my job. So I quit my job and I focused on my businesses, and I still started to think that, you know what, I've got a family to take care of, you know, I have to look out for my mom especially and all of that. So I'm like, if I need to look out for myself, because I'd already decided the kind of life that I want, if I need to get that kind of life and not be selfish about it and still be able to help my family and people that are close to me out, then I need to do a bit more. So I started to think. I was in Abuja at the time, and I'm like, do I need to change location? Do I need to go somewhere else? So I thought, okay, I'm in event planning and I'm doing fashion. I started to think Lagos seems like the place where it's bubbling. If I can make this kind of money in Abuja, I may be able to make more in Lagos. You understand? So I started to think, because I don't like being in one place and not finding out how I can grow from where I am. So that's another talk. So I started to think, okay, maybe I should move to Lagos. So I started making plans to move to Lagos. I was thinking that by the end of that year, I would go to Lagos. And then something happened. And then the idea of moving completely to the UK came up. Believe me, I used to be the type of person that would say, no, I don't want to live abroad. I would only go abroad to visit and, you know, holiday and stuff. And then that was part of my plan for what I wanted. I wanted to be comfortable enough to be able to travel for holidays and come back to my country and make my money and stuff. But it wasn't going the way I planned, so I had to change again. One very important thing we need to understand is location can restrict you. You may think you're not good enough, or you're not working hard enough, or you can never make it to a particular place. But it could be that location that you're at. Some people are so stuck in one place. I grew up there, I went to school there, my family is here, my friends are here, so they don't want to ever move away from there. I had the choice of staying in Warri after school, but I feel like if I had stayed back in Warri, I wouldn't have come this far in my career. And I was very focused on being at least progressive in my career. Do you understand? When I finished from school and I said I wasn't going back home, it's not as if my family just said, oh yeah, stay there, whatever. It was like, there's nobody in Abuja, there's no family there, you'll be alone and all of that. But I knew what I wanted, so I didn't listen to that. I knew that I wanted to be a bit more sophisticated than my roots can give me. I wanted to be a bit more successful than I thought my location of birth would give to me. I'm just being honest. And then I made the hard choice. I didn't know anybody in Abuja. That's fine. But I went there. It wasn't easy. It was really, really hard in the beginning. But now I am in a direction that is helping me go where I want with my life. So that's the point I'm trying to make. You need to consider your location. Is it restricting you? Do you have the opportunity to change that location? It's different if you don't have the opportunity and you're like, okay, you already know all of these things, but you can't really change. But if you know that you can change location, at least try it. Even if it doesn't work out for you, give it a go. Live life, experience life, go to another place, see how things are done, see how other people do things, see how you can progress beyond where your mindset is already limiting you to. That's all I'm saying. You need to think about location. If the location that you're at is a problem for you, then make plans to get out of there and try, you know, exploring things somewhere else. Next thing I did was to make a plan. I cannot discount the value of having a plan. So after you have thought about the kind of life that you want, you have thought about what direction you want to go with it, you need to plan. Sometimes your plan may involve depriving yourself a lot of things. I remember I didn't even have TV subscription for a long time when I decided to quit my job. Part of my plan was to raise a particular amount of money to be able to do something major with it that would in turn do something major for me. I wasn't eating like I used to eat. I wasn't subscribing my DSTV. Buying makeup was an indulgence. Doing my hair was an indulgence because I had a plan. And this plan wasn't just money. It was written down. I wrote down what I want to do first. You know, I said I wanted to do this first and I wrote it down. The second thing on my list, I wrote it down. The third thing on my list, I wrote it down. The fourth thing, down to the end. I can't tell you what your plan would be because I don't know what direction you want to go, what you want to do with your life. At that time, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking about switching from marketing to HR, right? Because I had done my business for a while. I wasn't making as much money as I wanted to make. And I figured if I move to Lagos, I may not know anyone, I may not be able to, I have some friends in Lagos and everything, but I didn't have business connections. And I didn't want to depend on just my friends and family. That has never worked to do my business for me. So I started to make a plan. When I go to Lagos, how it will be before the idea to move to the UK came up. And immediately the UK plan, the UK decision came up. happened and I said, okay, you know what, I'm going to go. I made a plan for a number of months. In the first month, what I was going to do, the second month, what I was going to do, down to how I sold everything in my house. I had a plan for everything, because sometimes if you don't have this whole system where you can do this and tick it off, do that and tick it off, do that and tick it off, you won't be able to organize your thoughts. If you can have something that you can visualize, then you can have something that you can write down, and then it will help to keep you in line. When you start to fall out of line or start to, you know, get distracted or start to mix things up, you have a clear path that you've written down that you want to follow. So whatever it is, if it's that you want to learn a new language because you feel like this language is going to help you change your life or elevate yourself or help you do the glow up or level up thing, then you can make a plan for how to learn that new language. My plan involved not even talking to guys. My plan was, I don't even want to, no boyfriend, no, see, my plan was really detailed, and I stuck to it because I knew what I wanted to do at the time. And when you make your plan, you have to hold yourself accountable. You have to be tough on yourself. Sometimes we are so soft on ourselves. We'll be like, oh, it's the condition now, it's the situation of the environment. Don't you live in Nigeria? Or don't you see how the economy is in the UK? Or don't you see? Be tough on yourself. Sometimes you're responsible for the things that don't happen in your life because you're just, you know, you just don't want to admit to yourself that you didn't put in enough effort. Put in the work. Do the best that you can do so that at the end of the day, if it doesn't work out, you're not making an excuse based off of, oh, that's just how life is. If you actually have a reason for something, it will be because you tried and you failed. So make a plan and follow it. The last thing that I had to do was to give myself the sense, the brain, that time takes time. I had to tell myself that no matter the plan that I make, no matter the work that I put in, nothing will happen in a hurry. I came into the UK to do my master's degree for 1 year, and after the master's degree, there's a 2-year visa that you can apply for. And the first advice someone gave me when I came in was, don't act like you have a whole year. You need to start preparing for what you will do after school. So I started applying for jobs from, I think, 2 months after I arrived here. Do you know how many times I got denied? Do you know how many applications I couldn't even complete because I didn't measure up, because I didn't fit? Even things that I was more overly qualified for, I would apply. I had to tell myself that time takes time. I have seen people try and fail at something, and then when I try to tell them that, you know, you need to keep doing this thing, you need to do it over and over, you don't just stop, you don't give up, they'll tell me, because you're lucky now, you're lucky, it just happened for you and all of that. I believe in luck, I agree, but I don't believe that luck works on its own. You have to push luck. You have to be active if you're looking for luck. You have to develop yourself. You have to put in the work and push. Like, you think I'm lucky because I didn't come whining to you when 1,000 jobs turned me down. Do you know how many jobs I applied to between when I got here in September and when I got my job in the next September? For a whole year, I kept being told, we are sorry, we can't do this. I'm sorry, unfortunately. I saw so many unfortunately emails. A weaker person would have given up, but I'm proud to say that I'm tough. And all this unfortunately they were saying, it's not because I'm not good at my job. I am good at my job. And when I do my job, whatever job I'm doing, right from time, I've always been like that. I put in 100%. I put in my best. I give it my best. I'm very confident when it comes to that. When I'm doing something, I have to know everything about what I'm doing. Whatever I don't know, I research and I find out about it. Everyone who's close to me, they know that's how I am. I can be very, you know, into anything. So I do a great job. I'm saying this on a public channel, and I've worked in a lot of places, and I'm 100% confident that there's nobody, colleagues or employers, that will come here and say, oh, Tegado, I do a good job. So all these rejections is not about my capacity. It was simply about, I just came into the UK. I don't have any UK experience. All of my experience was Nigerian experience. I didn't have any background working in the UK at all. That was one thing. When I was in school, I could only work 20 hours. So I was looking for places to give me 20-hour shifts. No office wants to employ you for 20 hours, no matter how good you are. They don't even want to find out how good you are, because I'm the minority. I'm not British. I don't speak British. you know, I'm black, I speak like a black person, and all these stacks of blocks of whatever were against me. But I didn't stop. Of course, I felt discouraged sometimes. I felt bad. Sometimes I felt even used. I always used to feel like I can do this thing over and over. I can try, I have time. You know, I felt like if I start early, then I have a whole year for them to reject me. That's how I saw it. But I need to change my life. I need to develop myself. Most of these certifications that I did them when I was in school, right? I developed myself. I learned a lot of things online. Everything I know about digital marketing, they didn't teach it to me in school or at my job. I learned it online. Everything I know about event management, I learned it on the job. I was working it, you know. Even when I wasn't making any money, even when I wasn't getting anything out of it, even when I would go home and cry myself to sleep, I would wake up the next morning and keep doing it. And then now I'm a bit chill. And then my business settled down for a bit and things started coming to me easier. I started getting referrals and people will be like, oh, this person gave me your number, you planned her wedding and stuff. And then people say you're lucky. But no, it's time. And while you're sitting waiting for time, you need to give time to do something for you. Because you can't start doing something now, right? Give up after a few failures or a few rejections. And then 1 year later, you want to come and start on that same thing without having developed yourself from where you were in the beginning. Like say, you only knew how to do, say, WordPress. I'm just using that because that's what I can think about now. You only knew how to do WordPress in January, and then you were applying for jobs, and then they said they wanted Marketo qualification, and that was in January. And then you got discouraged, they kept rejecting you. Everybody said they wanted Marketo, and then you came back in December to apply for jobs again, and you haven't gotten even Salesforce training, you haven't gotten the Marketo experience, you haven't gotten any certifications that will say, okay, you can be able to adapt this to this, and then you're saying you've tried. People are not persistent enough. If you really want to change your life, you need to put in the work. You need to decide clearly what you want. You need to make a plan to find out how you can get to what you want, and then you need to be patient. You can't put it in the microwave, it won't work. You have to be very patient. But at the end of the day, if you're patient and you're consistent and you're tough on yourself, you can change your life. You can change anything you want to change. It doesn't matter how slight that change might be. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you in my next video. Bye.